Hello, Gary here, and today I'm going to be preparing and starting to cook Sicilian stuffed artichokes. This is a recipe that my grandmother and her siblings passed down to us. I don't know the actual recipe that she used. I don't know the portions or whatever, but I know the basic ingredients, and I've kind of developed my own recipe over time. And I want to pass that along. So, Sicilian stuffed artichokes, the first thing that you want is nice, big, plump artichokes. The bigger, the fatter the leaves, the better. And what's really important on artichokes is how deep these petals are. How deep the petals are. They serve as cups. You're going to be putting stuffing in there, and so the more curled and fat these petals are, the bigger the cup. The bigger the cup, the more the yummy stuff. So another thing that you want to look for in an artichoke, aside from big, I like bigger stems, fatter stems. Fatter stems means bigger heart. This is a flower. So at the bottom of all these petals is all of the reproductive organs and stuff like that. But so that's another thing, is a big stem. These are skinny stems, but you know, it's hard to find them in season right now anyway. Another thing that I look for is artichokes whose petals are starting to open up. I like those. It seems like it makes it easier for stuffing. I don't have to pull apart the leaves. So those are really the three big qualities I like in an artichoke. Deep pocketed curling leaves, big stem, big artichoke, and is the flower beginning to open. So another thing for an ingredient that we need is a full can of Parmesan cheese for 5 artichokes. We need olive oil. We don't need extra virgin olive oil because we're cooking. If you want extra virgin olive oil, it really serves more of a purpose for, like putting on salad or bread or something like that. But when you're cooking, don't waste your money on extra virgin olive oil. We need breadcrumbs. I got Italian style because I don't have time really to mix up the stuff. But if you wanted to mix it up yourself, basically you'd get plain breadcrumbs. You get fresh oregano, fresh basil, a little salt, some onions, some garlic, and chop them up real small, and same with the garlic. But Italian seasoning's fine, and that's it. Parmesan cheese, olive oil, breadcrumbs, artichokes, and then we're going to basically steam them for several hours, slow steam them. Now, I think my grandma might have put them in the oven, but I've always done it just by cooking it on the stove top, putting a little bit of water in the bottom, and just steaming them with the lid on there. You gotta make sure that you keep water in the bottom or you'll burn the crap out of them. Anyway, I'll start the next step. Well, let me back up a little bit. I've already mixed the stuffing, and since I only have 2 artichokes, I used a half of a can of the breadcrumbs and a half a jar of the Parmesan cheese, and then basically the amount of olive oil that I'm putting in there is just enough to get this stuffing moist. It's really subjective. So there's my stuffing, and you can see it's still dry, but it's got a little bit of moisture. And make sure you taste it. Anyway, I love. My fiance always tells me before she goes to bed she loves me, and she always says love. So sticks to my heart about as much as that stuffing does. And I mean that in the bestest of ways. So now I'm going to prepare the artichokes, and here we go. I need scissors to cut off the tips of the artichoke petals. That will expose the pockets of the leaves. We want to get that stuffing, as much stuffing as possible into those pockets. So I'm going to mount my phone onto my Q-tips. This is my phone holder for the day. Jeez. One day I'll be rich after I get through paying for my sins, so to speak. There. Stuff it down in there. Okay. So, you got to go through each one of these petals and cut it off. Just like that. Okay. I'm going to do that all the way around to every petal. So, and then after I'm done, I'll clean up my petals. Go. Looking good. Now I won't do the top here. I won't do the top. I'll just pretty much do most of them, but then I'll come back to the top and I'll cut it off with a knife. That way I won't spend a lot of time. Good, looking good. Alright, so you can see I've kind of cut the tips off of most of these. As you can see, I missed one here. Got the bottoms off. Alright, that looks good. Now I'll cut this top off with a knife. Da, da, da. And and now you can see it's a flower. See? Beautiful. So we want to stuff all of this with stuffing, okay? So the other thing we want to do is cut this off. It can't sit inside the pan if the stem's on it, so I'll just cut this off. Up underneath here is the most delicious meaty heart. It's small, that's why I like a big stem. The fatter the stem, you can kind of gauge on how much heart you're going to get. And I love a big heart. Alright, so that's one down. One to go. Now I like this artichoke a little better because the see how they're really curled around? And that's really going to hold the Parmesan cheese nicely. So I'll cut those up real quick. I gotta hurry up or else I'm gonna run out of hard drive space on my phone. Alright. Doing the super speedy cut. So I'll teach a little bit of Thai while I'm doing this. I learn a little bit of Thai each day or each week or whatever. And, one of the phrases that I learned is, I love you, Chandra Kun. And another phrase that I learned is more, makwa. So my fiance kept saying Chandra Kun Makwa, and I didn't know what she was talking about, and I realized she was arguing with me about who loved who more. I've never done that with anyone before. It's amazing. 49 years old, like a little kid. tearing this one up. I need a sharp knife. I need a sharp knife. I need a phone holder. Jeez. Oh, the stress of being poor. Isn't that beautiful? Alright, here we go. I've got flower petals all over the place. Yeah, I've heard of being romantic and putting rose petals down for your lover. I think I'd like to make an Italian tradition when I want to make love with my lover. I'm going to put artichoke petals down for my lover. Make that pretty. Okay, so next fun thing is stuffing the puppies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread it out as much as possible so that I can expose all of these cups. Alright, so I can get the stuffing down in there. Do the same thing with this. Got it spread out as much as possible. Open her flower petals. Alright. And now I'm ready to stuff. Take my bowl. First thing I want to do is just kind of put it in there upside down. Squish in as much as possible. And I'm just going to put it on top. Rub it in there real good. Try and get it down into every pocket. And then I'll spread each leaf open and I'll drop it into each pocket. There we go. Alright. I want every leaf to have stuffing in there. I've got plenty of stuffing mix, so I don't have to worry about running out. There we go. Even the little leaves. This stuffing serves a couple purposes. The more stuffing you get in there, the more it wicks moisture down into the flower, into the base of the petals, and it helps. Essentially, it helps cook those petals. You know, softens them up over time. So that's why you want to try and get the stuffing down in there. The other purpose it serves is you're actually eating the stuffing more than you're eating the flower itself. So, there we go. Just like that. Alright, I'm going to push it in there. And I'm going to put this in the pot. So, for now, I'll just stick it on the plate. And I'll put it in the pot after I stuff the other one. That way I don't have to change where my phone is. Alright. And same thing. Spread open the leaves and just drop it in the pocket. It's like those, you know, those tortilla chips that, you know, you buy to get the more dip onto your chip. It's the same thing. This is your dip, and this is your chip. Alright. Booyah! So the reason I'm making 2 of these is I'm making one for my fiance. She can't be here right now because of coronavirus, but she is here with me, so I'll continue to make stuff for her until she can eat it herself. I'll just eat it for her. I'll get fat for her. Anyway, so there we go, and there we go. Okay, so that's the next step, and now I want to prepare the pot. Put a little bit of water in the pot, maybe that much. You probably don't want it to get too high on there because I don't have anything lifting it off the bottom, and you don't want, you know, to mingle with the stuffing or else you get all nasty. So just enough water in the bottom to help steam it, and then you'll put a cover over the top and just let it, you know, percolate around. So let's do that. All right, got my pot here. Please be nothing in there. All right, cool. And I'll turn this on, start this up. So, get some water. I'd say that's probably about enough. I'll keep my eye on it. You know, and then second one should be just enough room to fit those two in there. Go. Alright, so I'll let that heat up, and then the last step is take my olive oil and I'll just kind of douse it. There we go. So, and then the last thing I'll do is I'll cover it with something. So I don't have a lid for this thing, so I'm just gonna put a pan over it. I'll let that steam, and I'll keep the heat on real low. Let's say that's good enough. We'll keep it on real low, and I'll keep checking it for the next 2 to 4 hours, making sure that there's plenty of water in the bottom. You don't want it to dry out or you'll burn. And that's it for cooking it. I'm not going to sit here for 2 hours and talk, but I'll make a second video on how you eat it. That ought to be fun. So stay tuned.